Welcome to Roots and Roofs, where we explore the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship in the real estate world. I am your host, Mackenzie Shelton. Join us as we dive into the unique journey of balancing family life with owning a thriving real estate business. Each episode, we will uncover inspiring stories, practical tips, mindset conversations, and expert insights from others who are carving their paths in the real estate industry. Whether you are a seasoned realtor, a prospective buyer, or simply curious about the dynamics of managing both home and career, Roots and Roofs is your go-to podcast for heartfelt discussions and invaluable advice. Tune in and discover how these incredible women are building deep roots from the ground up while nurturing their families under the same roof. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about why hiring a real estate coach was the best decision I ever made for my career. So, at the end of 2019, I was really struggling personally, but not so much professionally. On the outside, it looked like I was absolutely killing it and that I had it all together. And really, on the inside and at home, I was absolutely drowning. So I hired a real estate coach at the end of that year, and it was literally the best decision that I ever made. And I'm going to just kind of talk about a couple of reasons why it has been super beneficial to me, and then maybe kind of talk a little bit about how a real estate coach should be helping you further advance in your career. So when I hired my coach, the biggest complaint that I had was that I had no time for anything. I had no time. I was burning the candle at both ends. I knew that I couldn't keep going in this direction because it was going to probably crash and burn pretty soon, to be honest. And she really just helped me kind of break down in very simple ways things that I could change about my personal life that would eventually help my professional life. So, if you have a real estate coach right now that is just talking to you about your numbers and about your production and what activities did you do today and things like that, and not talking to you about the personal things that you also have going on in your life, I'm going to highly suggest that you get a different coach. And here's why. Real estate agents are in an industry where we have to be on 24/7, which means that our personal lives get interrupted very often by the deals that we're negotiating or a 5 alarm fire, not a literal fire, but like an emergency going on with one of our clients, or a client that needs to go look at a house that just came on the market, and you've got your kids at home with you and you've got to run out the door in 30 minutes, and sometimes you just have to make that work, right? But what my coach did for me more than anything, on like the real estate sales side of things, was kind of help me fix some of the things that were not working very well in my personal life. And that's where I actually ended up seeing a bigger turnaround in my professional life. So, for instance, something very simple that she had me implement back in 2020 was one of the things that I was complaining to her about was every day when my kids got home from school, it was like almost right at 4 o'clock when they got off the bus. And I technically, title companies are still open then, lenders are still doing business. I would have, maybe a client that would call me right when they got off work at 5 o'clock, for example. And I was constantly having to struggle and juggle with my helping my kids with their homework, or just even paying attention to them right when they walked in the door, versus dealing with the clients that I needed to deal with, right? And she was like, Mackenzie, just change your voicemail to say that you are unavailable every day from 4 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. That will give you time when your kids get home to spend a little bit of time with them, ask them how their day was, help them with their homework, make dinner for your family, have dinner with your family, and then get back to all of your clients. And I do want to preface with saying, when she told me this, I was absolutely terrified to implement this. Okay. However, I decided to give it a try because I was open to receiving her, not only her critiques, but her suggestions for improvement. And I was like, well, it can't hurt anything if I give this a try. Although I was very afraid that maybe some of my clients were going to be upset that I wasn't answering their call right away, when they called. And I found over the year during 2020 that all of a sudden people were really respecting my boundaries. And to be clear, I had obviously not really set any boundaries prior to that, or my clients were not aware of my boundaries. So it was this really beautiful thing, just this very one simple thing that she encouraged me to change that really changed the trajectory of where I'm at now. And at that time in 2020, I was not taking any days off. Didn't matter if a client wanted to look at a house on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, every day of the week, I was available. Okay. And because the voicemail thing was working so well, I actually kind of came to the realization that I was like, I can take off days and establish that with my clients, that if they want to look at a house, for example, I decided that I was taking off Fridays. That was just the one day that I started with. Okay. And if a client wants to look at a house on a Friday, I can have one of my team members help them, or I can make sure to have my assistant actually taking my phone calls that day so that I'm not constantly getting interrupted on my day off. Okay. So I did just some very simple things to start with that ended up ultimately giving me more personal freedom and professional freedom when I established those boundaries. Now, if I had never hired that coach, I don't know if I would be where I am right now, because I was not very good at setting boundaries with my clients. I wanted them to feel like they were the most important thing in the world. But to be honest, my family is more important than them. So establishing clear boundaries was so helpful for me moving forward. Now, I had that coach for a couple years, and just kind of over time realized that I was maybe kind of outgrowing the help that she could offer me at that time. That's not to say anything negative about her. She is an amazing coach, an amazing person. But where I was in my career, we had kind of like peaked on what she could help me with. So I actually kind of I went in a search for like 6 months to find someone who could kind of meet me where I was at then. And I actually was very blessed to find a very, very highly successful long-term coach who had run a team very similar to the one that I was running and also trying to grow. And she has taught me so much in the last couple of years about being a leader and team management and things that were kind of beyond just regular production in real estate, right? And now I'm kind of at the point where I wouldn't say that I've outgrown her, but I have kind of some bigger aspirations and goals that are outside of some of the things that she has really experienced. So it's maybe just a little bit more that she can't talk on some of those things. And I had actually been thinking over the last 6 months that it would just be really amazing to have the opportunity to connect with people that are like light years beyond where I'm at right now, but maybe, give me some inspiration on where I would like to be eventually someday. And God clearly answered my thoughts. I don't know if I was necessarily praying on it, but he definitely delivered on the thoughts that I was having. And I'm now going to be entering a different coaching program. So for the last 5 years, I have had a real estate coach. And I would say it is probably the number one thing that has taken me from where I was as a solo agent to where we are now as a team. And I can only imagine where we will be in a couple years. I'll probably reflect back on this podcast and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we've gotten this far in a couple years. It's okay to have accountability. It's okay to lean on people to help you throughout this process because there is absolutely no one in the world that can do this alone. And some of the most influential people that I know, they all have a coach. They all have a mentor. You can call it a coach or a mentor, either one. But I really highly recommend seeking out a real estate coach if you are looking to kind of get to that next level in your business. I really think that you will reap the benefits as long as it's someone that is good and can really connect with, because like I said just about teams in one of my last podcasts, not all coaches are created equal. Please do your homework, research them, vet them, maybe ask for some recommendations from other successful agents that are hiring wonderful coaches. And you can definitely DM me for my recommendations on coaches. I promise you, I will give you people that I know can take your career to the next level, but also care about you very deeply on a personal level so that you're not so off balance with where you're trying to get in life. Thank you so much for listening to Roots and Roofs podcast today. If you loved today's episode, please let me know. I love hearing from you on Instagram and Facebook, so feel free to send me a DM or tag me in your stories so I can share it too. If you're looking for more information about today's topic, please visit my website, mahoganyacres.com, and all of the information that is listed in the show notes below. Until next time.